Welcome back to Modelbase Alpha. My name's Andy, and with the 1999 convention receding into the distance, it's time to get back to making some model kits. And this isn't a model kit, this is a rubber duck that was given away at LA 1999 in Burbank a few weeks ago. Does have remarkable looking breathing apparatus. Maybe he is a astronaut duck. Anyway, as the captain on the Golga Frenchum B Arc once said, you're never alone with a rubber duck. But to get back to model making, as you've probably guessed, the first kit to be tackled now back is the Ultra Probe command module, and as always living in the back of the stash, and this one is by Small Artworks, and as you can see this one's already been opened for a while. Probably time to build it. So it's not a huge kit in terms of parts or dimensions. It's roughly going to be just over 5.5 inches long once it's done, with the docking clamp arms. So it's about 18 parts, I think, and this is from, I think, around 2005, so not massively old, but certainly old enough to qualify as a back of the stash build, I think. So as I said, this was done by Small Artworks, who are based out of Canada, and we have several pieces. So what we have is the 4 main thrusters. We have 2 sets of maneuvering thrusters, 1 each side, port and starboard. We have these pieces, these attached to the main body, the hull of the ship, for the docking clamps. And surprisingly, for Small Artworks, there's some flash on this, but that just literally falls off, and it's going to be no problem to clean up. So first step is going to be just gluing these 2 sections together. Apart from the small amount of flash on the docking clamps, the detail on this is truly excellent. Just the whole model itself is just a work of art, if you'll pardon the expression. This was cast by iFactory, and Stephen, who is currently doing the 44-inch studio scale resin kit, which I've done a couple of videos on, cast this. So his pedigree goes back a long way, and even further than this. So as I mentioned, this is going to be about 5.5 inches long, and as you probably know, there were 3 different scales originally built for the show. There was the longest one was about 5 feet long, and that was in scale with a 22-inch eagle. There was also a 2.5 feet long one, and that was the one that was docked on the Dragon ship. And then there was also a 19-inch command module built, which was in scale with the 44-inch. And Jim from Small Artworks has said that this kit basically takes what he thought was the best features of those 3 different scales of the original model. And basically, with a small amount of artistic license, basically created what he hoped would be the best looking result. It's kind of like a hybrid of all three. I'm certainly not one to argue with that statement. Like I say, I think this looks absolutely fantastic. And with it being, you know, a fairly easy kit to build in terms of parts, theoretically, when it's completed, and if I can do a good job, this should look good. So what we also have is basically one sheet of instructions, which basically just, I guess it's kind of redundant. It just shows you where to clean off any excess resin that was on there from the mold. Basically gives you a kind of a painting guide as well. And also, this one actually came with its original J-pot decal sheet. The last time I built the Small Artworks spine booster kit, again, that went together perfectly. The only issue I had was the age of the J-bot decal sheet had basically meant that whenever I put something into water, it disintegrated. Hopefully, I'm not going to have that problem this time. What I'm going to do is cut off a small amount of decal and test it first, because these insignia of the Ultra Probe are really, really sharp. They're really, really nice, and I love this logo. However, should I have a problem, good friend Mark stepped up and supplied me with some extras. So Mark, being the top chap he is, sent me these, and as you can see, I've got several versions, which is a good thing because I actually have more than one of these. And also, because I only took these out of the envelope halfway just to check that they'd arrived in one piece through the mail, it wasn't till I took them out later and Mark had really surprised me. And down in the bottom, some Modelbase Alpha decals. So they're going to go on something very soon. So cheers, Mark. Really appreciate that. I've already tried them on a test piece, and they look good. So got two sets to choose from. So going to get started on the Ultra Probe. I mean, who doesn't love the Ultra Probe? So let's get cracking on that and see what happens. So the two halves of the command module are together, and I was done off camera basically because there's a very tight tolerance where the two halves meet, and they need to be pretty flush with each other. And the other thing you always want to make sure is with this top hatch here, you want to make sure that the top of the hatch matches up with this. So not this way around, because then otherwise half of it's going to be the wrong way round. What I thought I'd do at this point is mention a couple of other versions, seeing as this also comes in two halves, and this is somewhat smaller, as you can probably tell. Usually marketed as the 1/87th version, and I believe I got this from the Props and Ships Facebook group. The detailing is virtually the same. It just seems like it's been shrunk down. I'm not sure if this is actually a Small Artworks kit. I believe it was cast by Ravenstar, if anybody has any specific details, I'd be interested to know, because as I say, it just seems like it's a slightly smaller version, because the surface detail is impeccable and virtually the same. Another one is the Larson Designs. This is marked as 1/96 on the packaging. This comes as a one piece here, and yeah, this is actually a tad longer for 1/96, but as you can tell, the middle section's been stretched out, and detail wise, the detail is pretty much the same, has some scribed panel lines, but the detailing is a lot softer. It's certainly not as sharp and crisp. I don't know if that's down to the material used, or if perhaps something to do with the actual molds themselves. And also these sensor dishes are quite recessed. So yeah, this was available for a while. I haven't seen one for a long time. But, you know, still makes up to a reasonable kit by the looks of it, and has a couple of details to differentiate it from the others. But going back to the Small Artworks one, what I've decided to do, having cleaned up some of the docking clamps, and these are actually movable, so see if I can get one to hold on here. So once they are glued down, these will be positionable. What I've decided to do though is, because it looks like it might actually be difficult once these are attached to get a decent paint coverage, I'm going to do these separately and put some primer on and get some paint and see how those look before attaching them, and see how that looks. So that's going to be coming up next. Working on the docking clamps individually wasn't quite as beneficial as I thought it might be. Having attached them after I did give them some primer, as you can see, they do move individually. Yeah, applying the primer to the rest of the command module wasn't as difficult as I thought it was going to be, especially getting into these recesses where the docking clamps are. It might have helped a bit doing them individually at first. What it has revealed, and why you apply primer, is this join between the front half, or 2/3 I guess, and the rear third, is this join is more pronounced now I've put some primer on than I was initially hoping. I hoped putting some primer on it would instantly disappear, and when I woke up the next morning it'd be gone. That doesn't appear to have been the case. If anything, it's more pronounced. So what I will be doing is trying to apply some sort of filler or putty in there, and giving it another coat, as that's not something I can live with. It's fine in certain areas, and I did sand it down to begin with, and it looked pretty good, but applying the primer has certainly shown that up. So, like I say, filler time and some more primer. Next, I didn't talk about these at the start, as you probably saw them when I took them out of the bag. These two rear engines are supposed to go each side of the hatch. Basically, I'm not going to do that, as you can see from this image, there were no rear thrusters there. And again, possibly, as I mentioned at the start, that might be either due to Jim's artistic license, or because the kit is fairly old, maybe there were no high definition Blu-ray screenshots to go by, or maybe kit builders just didn't have access to the reference. Whatever reason, I'm going to leave those off. I don't mind that the hatch doorway is just a standard eagle doorway. That's not a problem for me. I prefer that rather than the smaller ones. So again, you know, this is compromises and you know, some artistic license. So to me, I prefer this, so that works for me. Additionally, the 4 main rear engine bells have been painted. I am actually going to put another coat of the silver over the top, just to finish those off. So, but otherwise I think they're looking pretty good. So get back to working on the command module section. I'm glad that I applied the filler. I put some Tamiya white putty around the back third of the command module, and put some more primer on, and I think that's looking a lot better. I wouldn't have been able to live with that gap. Well, I probably would have, but so the next step, I'm going to be using this again, which is the American version of Ford Diamond White. I like how it looks on this Replicas Unlimited passenger module that I did a little while back. So because that turned out fairly nicely, I'm going to try it again on this. I'm also going to apply the black for the viewports, and yeah, I think it's coming together. As you can see, I've applied the black for the front of the command module, and that went fairly easily. The masking for the white border, I was originally going to use the 1mm Tamiya masking tape, but it looked too big, so I decided to cut that down a bit. And I'm thinking now that I perhaps could have gone with an even thinner strip, but that's after the fact and by the by. So the only other issue that I kind of had, and it's reminiscent of the Larson laser design tank that I did recently, is the actual insets for the viewports aren't quite as smooth once the paint's been applied that perhaps it could have been. Again, that's really down to me not checking and kind of taking it at face value, and even with the primer, it not really showing it up. But not much I can do about it now, so I think they're going to kind of have to stay as they are. But that's the whole point of, I guess, doing these is as a novice, is with each kit, hopefully you learn something and get a little bit better. So, well, I've certainly learned something. Let's hope I get a little bit better. The green is liquid masking. So what's next is going to be the gloss coat. I'm going to stick a gloss coat on, and then it's going to be decal time. So probably going to need to strap in for that one. So what's next is going to apply the gloss coat. Obviously that's going to go pretty much all over really. And then it's going to be decal time, so probably going to have to strap in for that, as that's probably going to be interesting. Well, certainly for me, perhaps not so much for you, but let's see how that goes. It's decal time, so obviously got the one specific to the Ultra Probe command module, and I've also dug out some old MPC Eagle ones. These have the little squares, and I'm going to be putting those along the front of the command module. As there were differences in the different scales of the models, there were also differences in the markings on the different scales. So probably only fair to include perhaps what I think are the best markings. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and see how that looks. Not sure quite how crazy I'm going to go with that, but going to slowly build those up and see what it looks like. So, do you ever try to avoid something and it happens anyway? I tried to avoid any problems with this, getting it to the new spray booth I'd set up to apply the matte coat over the decals. So I get to the spray booth and managed to drop the command module. It landed on a box, said box collapsed, and it ended up on the floor. Now in 5 pieces with 4 broken docking clamps. So yeah, that went well. 2 of them actually still kind of work. So hopefully be able to join those back up, but the other 2 are going to have to be held in place because the 2 little connecting pins are now broken off, so they're not going to work. So there's only 2 actually will work. So to paraphrase Meatloaf, yeah, 2 out of 4, well, still not good. So anyway, all that remains, apart from trying to reattach the docking clamps, is applying the logo for the probe on the front here. I was originally going to use the 2 decals because they look really nice that came with the kit. Having coated these, they're now working pretty good. So what I'm going to do is actually save these and use some of these that I got from Mark, because having invested quite a bit of time and effort into getting these decals in place, the fact that it's now somewhat damaged, I'm thinking of saving these for the other same size Ultra Probe that I have. And also I do have a set of custom aluminium, or if you're American, aluminum engine bells, and the maneuvering thruster nozzles. So I'm thinking I'm saving those for this kit and treating this as a dry run for this one. So that's what's going to happen, I think. I have been researching, because these decals are not symmetrical, it seems some people are putting both of them, and I'll use the stickers again to demonstrate. if this is the front of the command module, they're putting the in this orientation, and that's not actually right. I did manage to find one image, and if you actually look, if this is the front again, they actually look like this. The vertical section is actually different, so that's what it's gonna actually look like on the craft. So yeah, looks like this way. And 1612 with their command module, the UltraProbe command module, put them like this. Not actually right, so glad I bothered to look. And then the other thing is just applying the maneuvering thrusters and the rear engines. The other thing I'm thinking of doing is, did get some electrical wire, and this came courtesy of Uncle Jeff and his online bazaar and shopping emporium. And this is the smallest I could get. And although it's kind of hard to see from here, the actual UltraProbe module has a couple of wires that come from this section here, actually on the hull of the ship, and then come to about here on the docking clamp arm. There's two of those. So I'm not sure at this scale how that's going to look, but I'm going to try, I think, and it'd probably help actually if these didn't move, but I'm going to try putting this, obviously cutting it to size. What I'm going to do is try on the underneath first, see how that goes, and then if it looks okay, well, works okay, then I'll do the rest. So we'll see how that goes, and hopefully I won't drop it again. These are available from spreadshirt.com. Just go there, search for Space 1999 props and ships. What I want to do is use this on a base, and I did find some plastic which was easy to cut, and I've slightly rounded the edges, and what I want to do is put this like so. Then I also have some crystal clear, or just about, rod, and when I place that somewhere there, probably shorten this a bit so it's not quite so high for the UltraProbe to sit on, perhaps half, maybe 2/3 of the way. And then on top of that, I found a suction cup which just about fits on the top. So all I'll need is some adhesive on there, and the reason I want to use this is nice and soft, and the command module sits quite snugly against this, and with it being this soft plastic, it's hopefully not going to scratch and just hold the command module nicely. So I'm going to put this together and assembled, and be about ready for a final reveal. So just before the final reveal of the UltraProbe command module, I just wanted to put up this picture of Gianni Garko. Took this at the London 1999 convention while he was perusing the model display tables. He was handed an UltraProbe command module and managed to get a couple of pictures of him holding it, and this is one of them. Not sure if he's going to be at Manchester next year. I have absolutely no advance information on that, but it would be certainly nice if he was. Very, very friendly and love talking to the fans. So if you're going next year and he is there, yeah, say hi to him. He's very amenable and makes himself available to chat. Anyway, coming up is the final reveal for the Ultra Probe. If you've made it this far, many thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. I would like to say this has been a fun build, and for the most part it has. Obviously, with the damage at the rear, it does kind of feel like snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. But, you know, that's the way the cookie crumbles, or indeed the Ultra Probe model crumbles. So, yeah, now that it's finally done, it definitely seems a more substantial model than I originally anticipated it to be. So, yeah, if you see one available for sale, these were originally about, I believe, $39 plus postage. So if you see one and you don't have one, definitely worth picking up for the collection. Obviously, I'm sure we'd all like round two to jump in and produce a nice plastic kit, but I'm sure that's not going to happen. Pity, but I guess the numbers just don't crunch for something like this. The only other thing, and I don't think anybody's ever brought it up, perhaps, you know, see if crowdfunding would be a viable alternative. I was watching a model kit show the other day on YouTube, and there was a company projecting the release of something that they just announced now towards the end of 2025, not coming out till 2027, and another release coming out in 2028. I guess if people are prepared to wait that long for, you know, a fully detailed kit, then maybe they'd be prepared to wait for a Ultra Probe. Who knows? Anyway, so something slightly different coming up in the next build. Not reaching into the back of the stash quite so much. This is a kit that's still available, but that's coming up, and might tease something about that online somewhere, sometime. So all it remains for me to say is thanks again. It is much appreciated. Cheers, and see you in the next one.